Okay, Karthik.
So this course is all regarding this cloud computing, okay, with Amazon Web Services. So 1 second, let me connect my stylus pen. Cloud computing with Amazon Web Services. There are a lot of vendors in the market who are offering this cloud computing services apart from Amazon, Microsoft Azure, okay, and Google Cloud Platform, IBM, okay, a lot of Salesforce. But as per the market reviews and compared with other competitors, Amazon stood the top first who is offering these services to the clients. Top first in sense in service offerings, because cloud computing was started first by Amazon itself on 2006 year, and it's almost 10 plus years they are into this market, I mean this field, cloud computing. Now, in order to undergo this course, first the guys should have, whoever are trying to complete this course or learn Amazon Web Services, according to me, I feel that those guys should have four prerequisites technical knowledge. One is a basic knowledge on networking. Second is storage, virtualization, and fourth is Windows and Linux operating system. Okay, the best part of this course is I'll teach this four also. Okay, I'll start with basic networking and we'll talk about storage, virtualization, Windows and Linux operating system, and then we'll talk about entire SDLC, software development lifecycle, how the development of software happens in the companies, what standard procedures and protocols they follow in order to develop the software and test it and host it. Okay, we'll talk about this and then we'll enter into Amazon Web Services, the real course. Okay, the first 4 days would be about talking all about all these prerequisites of this course. As this is the first day, okay, I don't want to go much deeper technically, and so I'll be just starting with virtualization. Okay, even before talking about this virtualization, we'll talk about AWS certifications. Okay, so some people wants to go for certifications of AWS, or some people wants to learn the AWS. Okay, when I say people, in sense maybe developers, they'll come to this, and testers and infrastructure guys. Okay, now according to AWS Amazon, he divided his certifications into three types. One is SysOps, DevOps, architecture. So SysOps certification is mainly focused on for infrastructure guys, okay, who will do the system operations like creating a network, LAN, Okay, configuring the routers, routing principles, launching servers, installing softwares on the servers, configuring those softwares, everything. The scratch work will be done by the sysops guy. So they are the real guys who does implementation, installation, configuration, maintenance, monitoring, everything. Okay. Now DevOps, this comes into developers and testers. Okay. So when I say developers, developers might be of different platform, Java, PHP, .NET, Ruby, Python, whatever the programming language that you are working on. Here, DevOps certification is mostly concerned about after writing the code. Okay, the developers after writing the code, how to make a build of that code and how to deploy that build onto environment. Okay, when I say environment is nothing but the servers. Okay, after writing the code will be on thousands and thousands of files with hundreds of lines, right? Okay, so what we do is usually we make a build of that source code into a single file, or a single file structure, and we'll deploy that build to the environment, I mean servers, so that it runs and it serves to the clients. Okay, so we do this all these things in an automated way. Okay, we'll talk about much deeper when we are talking about SDLC concept of that four prerequisites I told you, right, in detail. So for time being, just assume that DevOps certification is much for developers. Okay, and coming to third certification, architecture. Okay, what exactly architecture is? Now what happens, a company CEO or whoever it is who wants to design the product. Okay, he'll have all his thoughts about in his mind about the product, right? Why he wants to design that product, why, what's the benefit of it. So he'll share all his thoughts and how he want to uh, see the output of this product, everything with architectures. So architectures are the guys who are experts. Okay, they have all the knowledge on AWS, all the services. Okay, I mean mostly all the services. So these guys, what they do is they sit with the CEO, they listen, I mean they analyze the requirement, and they start designing the architecture diagrams, like blueprint diagrams. We call it as blueprint diagrams. Example, uh, if you're constructing your home, what you do, you approach civil engineer and you'll design all that the virtuality of your home, right? How it has to be appear, what paint, how it looks, and everything. Similarly, architecture guy will design different blueprint diagrams for development, testing, okay, and hosting, everything. He'll design different blueprint diagrams, and he'll provide that blueprint diagrams to sysops guy. Okay, now system operations guy will have this blueprint diagram, and he does the real job, means launching everything and creating and everything according to the architecture diagram. This is how the Amazon has divided all his three certifications, okay, for different peoples. So any doubts on this, whatever we discussed, guys, till now?
No, Karthik.
Okay, we'll go proceed further. Now my course covers all these three certifications, okay, to associate level. What is this associate? Associate is something advanced than beginner. Associate is advanced than beginner. Okay, and then we'll have another certification called professional. There are only two types of uh, division happened according to AWS on each and every certification. So it is like DevOps associate, DevOps professional, architect associate, architect professional. That's it. For sysops, just sysops, no associate or professional. So my course covers all these three certifications associate. Okay, so I'll be talking about some services of AWS. What is the word I say? Some services of AWS. What does this service mean? Okay, let me tell you. Amazon is offering his services to customers like us. Okay, what he is offering cloud computing services. Okay, he is offering his services to customers in different names, like the sub names called. There are like he divided his entire services into categories. He categorized it like networking. On networking, you'll find some services that are related to networking concepts. Storage. On storage category, you'll find some services related to storage category. And compute servers category. Okay. And security. Security category. Like that, he divided his entire services into some categories. Okay. Now, my course covers mostly all the core services of AWS that require, okay, that required to get your certification with AWS and a very good advanced level of knowledge to start up with Amazon Web Services. Okay, now talking about virtualization. So right now in this class we'll leave about Amazon. Okay, just we'll talk about a brief history of virtualization. What is virtualization? So guys, can anyone explain me what exactly is virtualization according to yourself?
So it's like maintaining virtual servers on one physical server.
Okay,
Instead of having one IP for one server, one physical server, we can maintain multiple IPs.
yeah, that's good. And can I ask an advanced question to this, like a continuous question? Why we required virtualization? What is the benefit of using this virtualization? Can anyone answer this?
Uh, it's mainly because of the storage capacities. So for a physical server, you need a lot of space to store it. So if you have a large, uh, for example, if you build a physical server with 1 TB, 20 TB hard disk and all the stuff, and you only need like 100 GB, 200 GB, the rest of the everything is not used.
Okay.
So if you virtualize it, you can make 2 TB physical server into multiple individual servers.
Yeah, exactly. So what is virtualization is, I have a fixed statement. Okay, in order to utilize the in order to utilize the resource to maximum level, we have this virtualization technology. Okay, now what Dattatraya is trying to tell us is, assume that we have a physical server I write as physical box. Okay, you'll have a physical server with 32 virtual CPU of compute power and 256 GB of RAM and 10 TB of hard disk. Okay, because on the data centers you'll have a servers, very big servers with high and huge resource capacity. When I say resource here represents maybe compute or maybe hard disk or maybe the RAM memory or the Ethernet network interfaces for that physical box, whatever it is. Okay, now we are talking about an example of considering one physical box with 32 virtual CPU and 256 RAM and 10 TB of hard disk. Now I had this beautiful big server in my data center. I got a requirement from my manager saying that, hey, I need a web server. Okay, so what you do usually on that physical box, you will install operating system and you will install that web server software. Okay, example, I'll talk about Apache. Apache is an web server software, open source web server software. Okay, and then you'll keep your website above it. Okay, now people started utilizing this website. Now, do you think that from the day one on, this website or web server is utilizing your all the resource of physical server to maximum level? I mean 100%, not 100%, a maximum level. No, right? When I draw and graph of x and y axis, okay, if I say x axis as time and y axis as what utilization, as the day grows, I mean as the time goes on, the utilization of your physical resource increases, and at some point it reaches to maximum level. Okay, this is what the utilization of your physical box, right? And what about this remaining? No, we are not utilizing it. Then boss, why you paid all the amount and bought the physical box and you kept it in your data center and you're not utilizing it, right? So there is a saying that there is one usually one saying, whenever we buy something, if we utilize it to maximum level, then only we'll get benefit. Okay, even these servers, they everything, for everything there is a lifespan according to standard global data center rules. Okay, global data center rules, what it says is no resource in the data center should have a lifespan more than 3 years. So what happens usually on the data centers, very big data centers, if a server crosses a lifespan more than 3 years, they'll replace the server with new hardware. Okay, and the old hardware, they'll destroy the hard disk and whatever it is, and they'll copy the old data from the old hardware hard disk to new hard disk and they'll destroy the old hard disk. That is what the global standard rules of data centers according to that. Now here if you say the 3 years, if you're placing the server on your data center and you're not utilizing it to maximum level, then what's the purpose of it? So we come up with a concept called, in order to utilize this drawbacks, considering all these drawbacks, what people did is they come up with a concept called virtualization. So on virtualization, what you do is on the physical box, okay, you assemble all your physical box and whatever, or you buy a new physical box from IBM or whoever it is, Dell or whoever it is in the market, and we'll install a software called hypervisor. Okay, we'll install an hypervisor on the physical box and we divide this entire physical box resource, I mean 32 virtual CPU, or 256 GB RAM, or 10 TB hard disk into small virtual machines. I'll call it as VMs, small VMs. Okay, and I'll assign some of this entire capacity to this each and every virtual machine. Assume that my boss says, hey Karthik, I required a web server of only just 4 virtual CPUs, okay, 10 GB RAM, and 1 TB hard disk. So what I'll do is, with the help of this virtualization technology called hypervisor, I'll create a virtual machine, and I'll associate some of my physical box resource to this virtual machine. Now I'll give this virtual machine to my boss as an web server. It means that this hypervisor, what it does is, on the backend it virtualizes all your physical hardware and it creates a virtual machine. Like that, to what level it you can create virtual machines is the sum of all the virtual machines resources is equal to your physical box resource. Okay, to that count you can create n number of virtual machines. Okay, now you see, I am using one virtual machine for web server. I can use other virtual machine for other web server, and one other virtual machine for database server. Yeah, I'm having a lot of servers on the same physical server. I mean virtual servers. Okay, this is how we'll utilize our resource to maximum level. Now on Amazon data center also, Amazon guys have a very big, huge physical servers. Okay, and they are using virtualization technology and they are creating the VMs and they'll provide those VMs to us. I mean the customers as instances. Okay, when I say the word instances, it means that it represents some server. Okay, the server is maybe the virtual machine on Amazon data center or maybe a physical box on Amazon data center. Okay, while creating an instance with our Amazon web services, you can choose whether you want to go with a virtual machine or you want to go with a physical machine. If you say, hey, I need a physical machine, then yes, Amazon guy on his data center, he'll provide an entire physical machine for you as per your required type. I mean, hey, I need a physical machine of 10 GB RAM and 4 virtual CPU and 1 TB hard disk. Yeah, he'll provide you a physical machine of that capacity also. But the charge would be very high when compared with this normal virtualization machine. Okay, now we'll talk about that in detail in the upcoming classes. Okay, now talking much about this virtualization, basically there are two types of virtualization. One is type A, the other is type B. Okay, now what is the difference between these two types of virtualization is, on type A virtualization, as I told you, you'll have physical box. On the physical box you'll have operating system, right? Okay, on that operating system you'll have hypervisor software. by using this hypervisor software, you create VMs. Like that, you create a number of VMs. For each and every virtual machine, again, you'll have the operating system. On this operating system, you'll install your softwares, whatever you required. Okay, and you'll use this. So this is one virtual machine. This is one virtual machine. This is one virtual machine with operating system and softwares. Now, for running this physical box resources, for running this operating system, you have to provide some resource to this operating system, right? I mean the memory, the hard disk, okay, the compute power. Again, for running this hypervisor, it has to provide some more resources to the hypervisor, like some more memory. Again, for this virtual machine and this operating system, and then at last finally goes to your real software, where what which you use it. Now, our final requirement is you required some software. That's it. Okay. Now, these are all the dependents. What assume that in a worst case scenario, what if my physical box operating system gets crashed? It got crashed. Okay. Then hypervisor will go down. If hypervisor goes down, entire VM goes down. Your software goes down of one, not only one virtual machine, all the virtual machines goes down, right? So this is a drawback of type A virtualization. So considering these drawbacks, we come up with type B virtualization. On the physical box, we will not install any operating system. We directly install hypervisor software. Okay, on the with the help of this hypervisor software, we create virtual machines. On the virtual machines, you'll have again operating system. I'll call it as operating system. That's it. And then your softwares or applications or database, whatever it is. So on data centers, when I say data centers, even on Amazon data centers also, we all use this type B virtualization technology. Okay. Okay. Type A, we use this on our laptops. Example companies offering this type A is Oracle VirtualBox. Okay. And VMware Workstation. Type B example is ESXi, Microsoft Hyper-V, or VMware ESXi. Sorry, I told you right, ESXi. Okay. So these are different companies that are offering different virtualizations on different categories. I mean type A or type B. Example. Now, assume that I am a developer or I am something a single simple guy. I had a laptop with me with 16 GB configuration. Okay, 16 GB RAM and 6 virtual CPU and 1 TB of storage. Now I want to create virtualization on my laptop. I want to create a small virtual servers. Then I'll go for type A virtualization because I'm dependent on my operating system. I use my operating system whenever whenever I want or required, I'll create a VMs. For that, what I did, I installed Oracle VirtualBox on my system. Okay. Now with the help of this Oracle VirtualBox, what I do is I'll create virtual machines and I'll work around with that and I'll power off it. So whenever these virtual machines are on power on mode, then only your system's resource allocation will happen to these virtual machines. If it is in power off mode, For your system, those are just simple files, not much. Okay, this is how I work around. I mean, people work around, the developer, testers, or people. So when it comes to data center, okay, here no operating system we required. We don't use the operating system, right? So on the physical box directly we'll have the hypervisor software and then virtual machines. We'll directly use these virtual machines. We'll remote login. Okay, we'll remote login those virtual machines in the data center with their IP addresses, and we'll work around with that. This is how it happens. This is what the basic differences about virtualization, type A and type B. So on Amazon backend, he is using type B virtualization. Okay, and not only it's Amazon, everybody in the data centers uses this type B virtualization. So any doubts on this guys topic?
No, Karthik.
What about you, Vinay?
No.
Okay. Guys, have you used any virtualization? I think people have used it. If yeah, if so, what virtualization softwares you are using?
I mean, I worked on virtual servers, but I didn't do any virtualization.
Okay. What about the others?
I also have the Oracle VirtualBox on my personal laptop.
Okay, that's great.
So
What
I
about
use Oracle
yeah?
VirtualBox and I install Docker and all the other stuff.
Okay. What about you, Srikanth and Vinay?
No, Karthik. I never used any virtual machines, something like that.
Okay, this is first time you are hearing of this, right?
Yes.
Okay. You, Vinay?
Oh, actually, I'm also not using virtual machines.
Okay. What you do is, guys, just download and install this Oracle VirtualBox. On Google, you can find this Oracle VirtualBox whenever you type. Okay. From the official website virtualbox.org, you can find this virtualization package. Just download those package and install it on your. Here you can see VirtualBox is offering to all different hosts. Mine is a Windows. I am using Windows laptop, right? If it is Linux, go for Linux. If it is Mac, go with Apple or go for OS X. Okay, if it is Solaris, go for Solaris. You download it, just clicking on it, it will download a bunch of downloads and install it. Now, what I am doing is my basic laptop I installed operating system Windows, but assume that for time being I require Linux operating system. Okay, what I do? See, I have Ubuntu flavor Linux operating system, CentOS flavor Linux operating system. So for Ubuntu, I have given here you can see when you click right click and go for settings, I have given out of my 8 GB of RAM, 4 GB. Okay, and the hard disk storage is like I kept off around 40 GB of storage. Okay, so whenever I require this operating system, what I do, I just power on it. When I power on it, this virtualization software virtualizes my hardware and it will power on. It provides that 40 GB of storage and 4 virtual CPU, 4 GB of RAM, and 2 virtual CPU of to these virtual machines. To this virtual machine, see now on my Linux Windows operating system, I am having another operating system Linux. Now it is starting up. This is how I work around. Okay, with different operating systems whenever I require, and I power off it. So I do changes. I mean, I write that data and the everything I do changes, it will store on this file system, on your file system. No changes will occur. I mean, those will be stored permanently. Even what I can do is, if my friend required or someone required this particular operating system where I did some work and everything, yeah, I can even export my this particular virtual machine into a single file and I can give it to my friends. Okay, right click. If you want to share it with your friends, go for file, export. Which machine you want to export? Chef 6.5. Next. Okay, so it will store into a single file called CentOS 6.5.ova. Yeah, you can copy this file to your friend's system. If he has that Oracle Virtual Max, he will import it. Okay, this is how you can easily virtualize your physical resource, and you can work around with different operating systems or different things, and you can export and import those operating systems to different machines. I mean, these are all the features of advantages of this virtualization software. Just work around with this. Okay, you'll get some hands-on. I'll share you some blogs how to install this Oracle VirtualBox and how to do it, or you can Google it. You can even find a lot of blogs. VirtualBox. I don't know what is your exact operating system. Mine is Windows 10. Okay. Now I found a very beautiful from blog from these guys. See how to install and how to create a new virtual machine. Everything in detail. Okay. Similarly, you do it and just work around with it. I don't want to go much further as this is our first class. We just spoke about virtualization and everything. Tomorrow class will be talking about concept, basic networking concepts we'll covering. Okay, what is IP address, what is router, what is switch, such kind of things. And at the tomorrow same time, 8 o'clock, we'll meet up with the same link. Okay. Any doubts on this today's topic, guys?
No, Karthik, I'm good.
Yep, thank you, Srikant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, guys. We'll meet up tomorrow. Bye bye.
Karthik.